Regardless of how we view the matter, it is a beautiful thought, a very kindly thought, and a thought that gave consolation to this lonely prisoner, doomed to die because he had tried to help. Actually, therefore, before his death, truth took Boethius through all the worlds of space, through the great realms beyond where he could not go himself. Truth showed him how right he had been in certain guesses and certain suggestions. Truth also told him that she had helped him to form these ideas within his own consciousness, that as long as he served her, she would stay with him, and he would never be alone again. So Boethius, when the time came, passed on without fear or doubt, and his little book has brought comfort and insight to millions of people in a world that he never lived to know about or understand. This brings us very definitely to the concept that we had for the discussion of the morning, namely, truth as love. That truth is a being, a power, a quality. Truth is the most dramatic, dynamic way that leads to reality. But what is truth to us? How do we understand truth? Well, probably we understand it very much as Boethius understood it. We understand it by a little effort to grow. We try to be a little better today than we were yesterday, and we continue to grow a little every day. But the first step that we take toward reality brings us this contact, this something that walks with us the rest of the way. The first sincere, dedicated effort to live the life of truth brings truth to you, and truth walks with you to the end of your days. This was the idea of the Pythagoreans and the Platonists. It was the result of the individual earning dedication by his own dedication. When we do a definite good thing, when we serve those in need, when we improve the nature of our own contemplations, we have made an important connection in life. And once this connection is made, it cannot die. Once we become aware, once we have given birth out of our own souls to the soul of truth, that soul will live on. It will go with us, maybe age after age. We may backslide and forget and lose and transgress, but once we have made a sincere effort to try, we have taken the first step to eternity. We have taken the first move in the direction of everlasting peace. And therefore it was quite proper for these ancients to think of love as the faithful friend, something that could carry on beyond all of the powers of the mind. The mind can be deceived, the body can be punished, but the truth in the soul goes on. Nothing can stop it once it has started. And the first good deed dedicated unselfishly is the beginning of the long road that leads to regeneration. Buddha brings us the same point when he says that the journey to truth begins with a single step. The single step in the Greek system was the first absolutely unselfish, dedicated effort to serve. The one moment in life when we outstrip ourselves, when we are bigger than ourselves, and place a common good above our personal advantage. As long as we are selfish, truth remains alone for us and weeps. The moment we are selfish in our thinking, or in our actions, or in our codes of life, we cut ourselves off from the eternal love which is saved for us in the wonders and mysteries of the mystic life. So it's after a certain period, we do make this effort. It becomes, as Buddha pointed out, after the first step, the second step is a little easier. But of course, all through the first steps and the second and the third, there is the pressure of outside forces. We are constantly under tension and stress and temptation. But at the moment we begin the journey, there is something there standing with us. When the good deed stands alone, as far as we can tell, it is standing actually in the presence of the principle of good in space. There is only one principle of good. It's not a principle of this being right or that being wrong. It is a simple, actual adjustment within ourselves. It requires no intellectualism. It requires no vast store of knowledge or insights. But these may contribute to it. But it is a step from the selfish to the unselfish, from the dark into the light. And once when the individual makes this dedication, he is pressed gradually forward, one step at a time, to the fullness that he seeks to possess in the fullness of his own maturity. So in the story of now that we have today, in the story of love as truth, we have the concept of a standard of virtue, a standard of integrity that transcends anything that we know in our ordinary material relationships. I think probably the Greeks were very close to the fact when they began to personalize all of the principles and ideal forces of life. The Greeks did not see the earth as a body alone. The Greeks saw the earth as a soul, as a living thing. They did not see the sky as merely a great mass of stars. They saw it as a great mother brooding over the world. The stars in themselves were not just sparks of light or some kind of chemical explosions in space. The stars were beings looking down upon the world. Everything in the world was alive. Everything in the world was conscious. We did not know that consciousness, but by certain growth, by certain development, we gradually reduced the distance between personal understanding and this larger value of life. Now, much of this is symbolic, no question about it, but it is something that we have to give some thought to. I remember a story that Ernest Thompson Seton told me about a meeting of the Boy Scout movement in Canada one year before he was still alive. And he was there, and the young people from all over the area of the United States and Canada were gathered in a large hotel where the meetings were to be held. And a little American boy and a little American Indian boy were in the same room together, looking out of the window, and it was snowing. And the little Indian boy said, this is the great-grandfather. This is the old one who sits at the North Pole, and he smokes all winter. And every time he empties his pipe and throws out the ashes, it's a snowstorm. All these, you see, are the ashes of grandfather's pipe. The little American boy looked at him for a moment, thought he was insane or something, and said, "Oh, don't be silly. That's nothing but snow." The little Indian boy never did get the idea that snow was anything except the ashes of grandfather's pipe. And this is the truth in almost all ancient beliefs. All Indian peoples had beings at the root of life. All Chinese people had beings. Hindus had beings. Greeks had beings. It is only in our modern scientific world that we transform these beings into scientific formulas of numbers and letters and try to bestow upon these formulas the interpretation of the mysteries of life. You cannot follow the scientific method we use today to find the secrets of anything except the most transcendent material objectives. Actually, the answers to all of the riddles of knowledge, the source of energies, the source of life, of time, of light and darkness, of good and evil, are all formulas of vibratory rates, and they are all alive. Everything has some kind of life in it. It is in the stone, it is in the star. They are tied together by a tremendous unity.